Passive income is not what you think. There's a truth that nobody's telling you, and it's keeping you stuck where you are. Let me explain. I'm going to give you 3 facts that you should know that are going to be important for you as you're thinking about passive income. So, fact number 1, unless you already have a large amount of money to invest in truly passive investments, then there's no such thing for you as a truly passive income. And the reason for that is that you're going to have to do or provide something else besides money, right? And let's get real. Even with a large amount of money to invest, you still have to, research and decide and, find somebody to help you to actually make something that you invest in passive. And then you have to worry about it and think about it and watch it and all of those things. So is it really ever passive? Maybe, maybe not. Maybe if you were a billionaire, right, with a B, and then you can just, have your finances turned over to some management firm because you're a billionaire and you can afford to make you some money and pay for the fees of them making, that money make more money, right, and all of that. Maybe if you're in that position, then that company could provide you with the passive benefits of investing in that case. But until you're a billionaire, right, until you're in that position, you're going to need to use some other resource other than money to produce income for you, and especially some form of passive income, right? Fact number 2, since you are not a billionaire, right? Since you do not have billions of dollars or even millions of dollars to invest, you're going to need to put some other thing into the input-output equation in order for you to make, create passive income or to make money in general, right? Since you don't have money equity, you're going to have to use sweat equity, effort. You're going to have to do some set of activities, put in some input into this in order for you to be able to get out income. For you to do that is to find some way to leverage your effort. And so let's talk about leverage. Fact number 3, delayed gratification is a superpower. So let's step back into the leverage piece for just a second. Leverage is just your ability to find things that multiply your effort. So if you've ever done something with like a fulcrum and a lever, right? Hence the name leverage, a lever. Then you know that if you have a 2x4, right, and you go and you put it on top of a wall, and that you have the long end away from you and the short end into your hand, and you go to try to push down, it's gonna be very difficult to push down. But if you have the long end on your side and the short end on the other side, it's gonna be very easy for you to move that up and down because of leverage. The same thing works in life with input-output equations, where the amount of effort I put in gets me this amount of output out. When you think about how you're building up some sort of a passive income, you have to think about, right, does this give me a short-term gain and a long-term loss? Or does this give me a short-term loss and a long-term gain? That's why fact number 3 is delayed gratification is a superpower. Here's the deal. If you don't get the leverage thing, then you're not going to be able to produce the passive income. You have to find a way to put in effort and then have some sort of a continuous effect that is created by your effort. So in my case with merchant services, the basic idea here is we put in effort up front. We go and we sell a client. We now have an agreement with that client, that business, to do their payment processing. That payment processing, I sell it on the front end, right? I put in effort to go and talk to the customer, or I run ads, or I do whatever we do from an effort standpoint to produce the account on the front end. Then on the back end, once I've gone and installed that client, set them up, whatever it is that needs to be done, right? They're going to continue to do their business. And now they're putting their effort into this equation. And that effort is what is continuously producing income for us, right? So because I delay the gratification and not just like trying to sell something that makes me a big amount of money right now up front, I've created a stream of income, and every account is an additional stream, right? And so when you're creating passive income, it doesn't have to be in merchant services, right? This goes with anything, software as a service, payroll services. There's even types of lending that can produce residual income for you, where you do the effort up front, and then on the back end, you're receiving, a continuous stream of income. That, again, we're talking about this word passive and how unless you're a billionaire that has somebody else managing all your funds, your trust fund baby or whatever, you're not going to be in the truly passive income space. But what you can do is you can start now producing something that will compound, right? So again, with payment processing, we sell an account, we sell another account, we sell another account, we sell another account, we sell another account. And over time, it layers on top of each other, and every month, the amount of revenue that's coming in increases. So that by the time you're in a year, 2 years, 3 years down the road, you've already got a substantial amount of income coming in, like a snowball, right? It starts rolling, and then it starts rolling on its own, right? You're no longer having to push it because it's big enough. And then as it's rolling on its own, it's even collecting more, right as it goes. Here's the problem that most people fall into as they get started in this. They end up in analysis paralysis. They end up looking for ways to do no effort but make the passive income. And unfortunately, again, unless you're a billionaire, that's not going to be a reality. However, the thing that is stopping people is not just the analysis paralysis, it's the not starting. You can't steer a sitting bicycle. You have to start going. So even if you start going in a direction and you need to make a U-turn, you're still better off moving in that case, because if you just sit on a bicycle, you're just going to fall over it, and that doesn't solve anything. So my encouragement to you is to start, right? Get rich quick schemes, or your search for get rich quick schemes, is keeping you lazy and preventing you from getting to where you want to be. If you would have started 3 years ago, right, it would have been great. That's what they say with like financial planning. The best time to start a retirement fund was 20 years ago. The next best time is right now, because the longer you wait, the longer you're missing out on opportunities. Find something solid, like selling merchant services or something similar to that, and start now. Waiting is costing you more than just money. It's costing you time. And if you're not already, in a position where you're happy, right, then you need to start this process now. We obviously help people do this in the merchant services space, in the payroll space, in the lending space. If you're not already one of our referral partners or agents, I have a link in the description, but it doesn't necessarily have to be with us. You can find opportunities to produce residual income in other places. You just need to start, because starting is what's going to get you wherever you're going. If you don't start, you're never going to finish. So I hope this blesses you. Get started now. Don't wait. Do something. I'll see you guys on the next one.